Welcome back. Sleep Well podcast. We're doing another story. The story is by fake_bra on Reddit. Just another no sleep story. We read their most recent stories, and now we're gonna do their first story because we like the author so much. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And the comments on the story look good. It should be like a short one, so hope you guys enjoy. Take it home, or not take it home. Let's start it off.
Oh, the story is called "My Daughter Has an Imaginary Friend."
Oh shit! Yes. Whoopsies. The story is called "My Daughter Has an Imaginary Friend."
Okay.
Yes.
I always thought about being a single father. Let me start over. I'm so sorry. I always thought being a single father would be the hardest part of raising Samantha. After her mother passed away 2 years ago, I did my best to create a stable, happy home for her. Without trying to come across as a snob or self-absorbed, money has never been an issue in our lives. And say what you want, but that helped a great amount in making Sam feel as happy as she could, given she does not even remember her mother. Her name was Lily, and we'd been together for quite some time before we decided we wanted a child, our little blessing. I don't want to get into details about her passing, frankly, even though Sam and I talk openly about her, which I decided was the best way to make sure she doesn't get upset every time she is mentioned. I still haven't moved on completely. I doubt I will soon.
His daughter's dead.
No, the mom is dead.
Oh. The mom's dead.
The mom, Lily is the mom.
Okay.
Was
I was thinking,
his partner.
I thought it was saying like my kid's dead and this is the story. My bad. Got it. My bad. Anyway,
Samantha is very much alive, as far as we know.
The daughter is alive. All right, my bad, guys. Sorry for the confusion. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. The reason I spoke up about money is that thanks to our hard work as a family, we were able to afford a decently sized house with a large yard and houses Samantha's safe space. Her treehouse. She's loved it since the day it was built, and it's where she would spend hours playing, drawing, and watching her favorite show on a laptop I'd left up there. Looney Tunes. I must say, I never discovered its appeal. Some jokes were too weird to put in children's cartoon, and I never was a big fan of cartoons in the first place. But as long as it keeps Sam happy, I tell myself, and here I'd be watching episode after episode with her.
Every so often, when my work and the weather would permit, Samantha and I would have a slumber party in the treehouse, of course watching Looney Tunes, playing pretend, and whatever else she'd want us to do. I never said no to anything, and she damn near burst from happiness every time I told her we can climb up there for the night. Unfortunately, there was a period of 2 or 3 months where I'd have to take extra shifts, and most of the time be gone for a big part of the day, having to leave Samantha at her grandparents' place half an hour drive away, or that they'd come to watch her. That meant no slumber parties.
Now, you might ask why her grandparents never gave her that simple fun. Well, I wish I could answer you. My parents both passed away a while back, and I never got along with Lily's parents, even less after her death. My guess would be because they were now anchored to me for the rest of their lives, thanks to Sam. And when I wasn't there, that was such a weird sentence. He's like, yeah, I'm anchored to them now because of Sam, so thanks, Sam. Thanks for being born. Like that. That's how it read, right?
Yeah.
Like, god damn! I wish I didn't have this fucking kid! Now I gotta have these in-laws for the rest of my goddamn life.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I got off track there. Fucking jeez. When I wasn't there to take the verbal abuse, my daughter would be the one having to listen to them babble on about stuff no 4-year-old would, excuse my language, give a shit about. Our biggest arguments were about how they would let Sam sleep in the treehouse on these warm nights on her own. I always yell at them now. She could get hurt climbing up and down, even more so if she was to go to the house in the middle of the night. Thankfully, once that period of double shifts and additional work hours was over, Sam was back in my care again, and I could tell she was happier that way. But I was in for a surprise just a few days after. His name's Looney,
Sam told me while I was tucking her into bed one evening.
like Bugs Bunny. Oh?
I replied, eyebrows rising. My daughter had never had an imaginary friend before. In fact, she found the idea pretty silly in her own words when I explained what that was to her after she learned about it from other kids.
That's a funny name. Is he a bunny too? No, he's just Looney. He's funny and always smiling. He makes me smile too, like this.
She threw her arms up and put on a very exaggerated smile, which looked way too forced, as if it would hurt if she kept it on for more than 2 seconds.
He lives in the treehouse and plays with me.
I kissed her on her forehead and turned the lights off, telling her good night. Her imagination's going to go crazy soon, I told myself, then smiled to myself a little, realizing that this was one more thing to keep her mind occupied and away from thinking about her mother.
Over the next few weeks, Looney would become a regular topic of conversation. Sam would tell me about the games they play up in the treehouse, which unsurprisingly were mostly games a child could play on their own, or they would simulate another kid playing with them. Looney would tell her jokes that always made Sam laugh, but when she'd tell them to me, I'd always just fake laugh, failing to find the punchline. They were always random questions and a nonsensical answer.
Some weeks later, when I was preparing to run to the shop around 5 minutes from us, I went to tell Sam. She's smart enough to be left alone for such a short time at the stage, so there was never a problem. She was outside in the yard playing close to her treehouse, looking up and laughing, throwing a ball up which would roll back down every time. She must have been throwing it pretty hard and accurately at the wall, considering there's no incline inside.
Sam, honey, I'm going to the store. Don't touch any dangerous things, right? You remember?
She looked at me after she threw the ball in the treehouse, but it didn't roll down this time.
By the way, who leaves
Red
their
flag.
fucking 4-year-old daughter at the house alone?
Yeah.
Right? She's 4, right?
Yeah.
She's not old enough to stay at the house alone.
Nope. No, I agree.
This is a bad dad. That's neglect.
Even if it's 5 minutes, it's like, okay, but
Take your daughter with you
a lot of things could
to
happen.
the fucking store.
Yeah.
What is this, This is like the 1970s. Leaving your kid out. That's why there's so many kidnappings.
Yeah.
Okay, Daddy.
She replied and went back to looking up at the treehouse.
We can play after that if you want. I'm sorry, I was busy with work. It's okay. Me and Looney are playing. Oh, is that so? Maybe I can play with you too when I come back, so you can finally introduce me.
Sam looked up at the treehouse again, and after a few seconds of silence and just looking, she turned to face me again, with her face looking downward and arms crossed.
Looney says, "You're too big to play, Daddy."
I was slightly hurt, but she said that's fine. Blah, blah, blah. I was slightly hurt, but said that's fine and left for the store. Samantha was quiet for the rest of the night. So many red flags already.
Matt, I don't like it.
I don't either. Things began to get stranger after that. Anytime I saw Sam playing on her own, or I guess with Looney, she'd quiet down and stop playing entirely. She'd talk about him less, and every time I would ask, she'd get upset because of Looney, and she would ignore me. It got to the point where I was getting angry. I couldn't comprehend her being more upset because of some imaginary friend than about her mother. One night, when she was acting particularly strange, while I was tucking her in, she talked about Looney herself after a while of not hearing anything from him.
Looney is angry at me. Is that why you've been so quiet? Yes, he wants me to sleep in the treehouse, and I said you wouldn't let me. He's not real, Sam.
She tried to interrupt me, but I cut her off.
You can't let your imagination bring you down like this. It's silly. It's real, Daddy.
She shouted at me. I was taken aback.
He lives in the treehouse, and he said he will hurt you if you don't let me.
Samantha was grounded for a few days after that argument. I know. No. This is a no. It's just no.
That is crazy.
Samantha was grounded.
Children are scary. Children are scary, okay?
They are.
Children are so terrifying. I don't like it.
They are.
That is crazy.
Creepy.
Oh my God.
Samantha was grounded for a few days after that argument. This was no way to speak to her father. She was never a problematic child, and now some stupid invisible buddy was ruining our relationship. I had to get her to stop, and I figured the only way to do this was to put my foot down finally and stop playing pretend with Looney and all that nonsense. During these days, though, I have to admit, I was thinking about when my daughter said that her friend lived in the treehouse. She never acted like this before. She never made things up. I decided that the next morning I would go up to the treehouse after so much time of not climbing up there and bring her things down until she started behaving like normal again. I didn't get to that though. The same night, I was woken up by something in the corridor coming towards my room and crying. Samantha basically bashed the door in, her face completely red and streaked with tears, her eyes barely open. She lunged at me, landing on my stomach while I was still trying to process everything, almost leaving me without air. Before I could even ask what was wrong, she began yelling into my chest, her terrified voice muffled and her little arms gripping onto me so tight that it made it difficult to breathe.
Looney broke my window, Daddy. He's angry and keeps telling me to play with him.
My heart sank and my first thought was to hide Sam under the bed, the same place where I pulled out my baseball bat. Ignoring the fact I was only in my underwear and could barely see anything in front of me, I ran through the corridor, moving through the living room and bursting into Samantha's room, the adrenaline in me forcing me to look first around the room for any intruder, not at all noticing that the fact was in fact broken by a lone stone laying in the middle of the glass.
Oh.
After I checked everywhere someone could hide, behind the door, under the bed, and the closet, I yelled out into the darkness and walked slowly towards the window, trying to peer around the edges to see if I could see anything. The moonlight outside was faint, but it allowed me to see the completely empty yard.
Then my eyes traced the tree leading up to the treehouse, and I was frozen in place, realizing that all of it was real, having just locked eyes with Looney. For a few seconds, we just stared at each other. I don't know what he or it or whatever that was thinking at that moment, but I wasn't scared at first. I was confused. Looney's proportions were so wrong. His limbs were unnaturally long, and I think I even saw an extra joint somewhere along the arms. His torso was so skinny, I could see the ribs. I can't even begin to describe his head. The best thing I can say is that it was just vertical, the eyes so close together, shining in the darkness, and the mouth so wide that it stretched oh my God.
Ew.
So wide that it stretched to the side of its cheeks, locking that thing into a permanent smile. I don't know if there was any hair on the head or limbs or anything. I don't even know if it was a human or some creature. It was just standing at the entrance of the treehouse, having to bend in order to fit under. What the fuck?
Only after I came to realize what I was looking at did the terror run through my body, chilling every part of it and making me drop the bat. Looney didn't descend the ladder or jump. He crawled under the tree like some animal and then trudged off, lifting its legs effortlessly over the fence and disappearing into the woods beyond the yard. I must have stood there for at least 10 seconds trying to process everything before chaotically running back, the only things I grabbed on the way being my car keys and Samantha. I don't know how far over the speed limit I was driving, but we were at her grandparents' place after what seemed like forever, and we haven't been back since. I haven't even called the police. What do I even tell them about being brushed off as someone with nothing better to do? I've been seeing this thing in my nightmares, and so has Samantha, who's barely been able to sleep herself. Even her grandparents are calling me mad, despite their granddaughter backing up the story and describing the same thing I saw, even if in a more childish manner.
I have no idea what's happening back at home. Our closest neighbors are a short drive away, and nobody's gonna see the broken window considering it's on the back of our house. For all I know, that thing can come back to trash everything looking for my daughter. And I'm afraid it's going to keep looking for her. What sends chills through my body every time I think about this, though, is not the creature itself, but how the whole time Samantha was playing with it, saying how it lived in the treehouse. She was not imagining it. What a crazy story.
And you see why I'm scared of imaginary friends?
Oh my god.
They're not imaginary.
So crazy.
First comment. You left your 4-year-old alone to go to the store?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here, I'm gonna reply to that one. That's funny. That is very funny.
That was a short, creepy story. Just added to my fear of imaginary friends just a little bit more.
That was a creepy story. It was short too. I kind of like wanted more, but it was that was good.
Yeah.
He is real, Daddy. I like the way the way that they structured the dialogue in this one better, because it was like its own line.
Yeah.
So it made it way easier to read
instead of like in between the sentences.
Oh yeah. I like the way that they did it this time. Like in this first one, I like the way the dialogue it flowed better.
Yeah.
For me at least, because like I'm reading it on a podcast, so like story wise, it makes sense the way they did it in the second one and their newest stories. But this makes it way easier to read for what we're doing.
And then he got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, he got his really hurt. He's like, oh fuck, dude. They did a really good job of a lot of like authors struggle with doing how to kids talk.
Yeah.
And this person hit it on the nail. Like that I thought I was reading like that's something that a kid would say. Like these things would say.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid. I don't know. My first red flag was, he
is real, Daddy. He lives in the treehouse, and he said he will hurt you if you don't let me.
Who does that?
And if I was like, if that was me as a parent, I'm like, I'm gonna go up in the treehouse now and see what's going on.
He should have done that when she was throwing the ball up in the treehouse, and it kept coming back each time. And then, but there was no.
I to be honest with you, I wouldn't have thought anything of that. If it didn't come back down, I just thought it just got stuck up there. Like maybe she hit it just right each time, and that last time I just kind of like got stuck. But like it is crazy because like as soon as you said maybe you can introduce me, that means Lily was like, no.
Yeah.
But like also like how was he talking to her? Did you think about that? Like he was talking to her, but the dad couldn't hear what Looney was saying. So is Looney like maybe he was like telepathic or something?
No, maybe Looney just didn't want the dad to hear him.
Maybe he's a real imaginary friend. And
don't think.
And only kids can like hear him. Like imaginary friend that's real, right? But
yeah,
only kids can hear them. I don't know. There's a lot. This story leaves more questions than answers. The story leaves way more questions than answers. Great story. I like this author. I'm having a stroke. We have read 2 stories by them, right? One with a 4-part, and then this like single story. Very good. Go check them out on Reddit. _bra on Reddit. So very good. Thanks for watching again. Like, subscribe, comment. That also helps. And check out the Spotify. Maybe listen to it in your car. Maybe give it a little rank. Maybe a little bit of likes. I have no views on it yet. Please go to my Spotify and watch it. All right, watch it here and watch it there. Don't actually do it. I'm not forcing you to do it. But maybe give it a look. Maybe follow it. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will we'll see you guys next time. Sleep well. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.